Kaboom! Guess who stepped in the room? It's the gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you what's on my mind. Check it out. First and foremost, as always, I want to thank everyone for subscribing and clicking that notification bell. Or is it over here? Or I don't know. But anyway, hit the bell. So I want to thank everyone for liking, for sharing, and of course commenting. I love your comments, so keep them coming. Also, I want to remind everyone that it's October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And, you know, men are affected by breast cancer as well as women. Not nearly the rate at which women are affected by it, but men have been known also to suffer from this. So it's a good time to be aware of that, guys, and get yourselves checked out. And, you know, if there's anything else, you know, going on health-wise, of course, you don't just stop with breast cancer. It's like, just be aware of your health and regular maintenance, as my mother says, you know. So guys, keep up with it, man. We want to be here for like the big moments in life and for each other, and you know what I mean. So please, you know, and this is coming from the heart, take care of yourselves. So anyway, guys, real quick, I want to get into this article, and this is kind of an update about the Morton Bay, the Dr. Morton Bay, as I like to call him, aka Dr. Mindbender. And he is writing an article which is, I guess, addressing the response that he got for the initial paper that he wrote talking about Russian bots and how they influenced the reception that The Last Jedi got and Rian Johnson and all that bullshit. So he actually wrote an article to address that. So I want to share it with you guys, and you can find it on NBCnews.com, and I'm going to tell you the headline. It's right here. It's Star Wars The Last Jedi reactions show how right-wing Twitter agitators adopted Russian tactics. So it sounds like he's doubling down. My study suggests that some conservative activists have found Russian trolling tactics useful to spread their own messages. All right, now I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm just going to scroll down here to the part where I thought that it was getting interesting. And of course, I'm going to leave the article in the description box so you can read the whole thing. Now, where does it start? Okay, he goes on to say, I had never before seen such deliberate attempts to try to connect an already contentious fandom debate with bigger, completely unrelated political issues. And then he says, for those who haven't seen them, Star Wars movies skew center-left, Hollywood style, but avoid addressing earthly political issues directly. Which I feel is appropriate, of course. If you're talking about science fiction or science fantasy, it shouldn't be too heavy with earthly issues. That's what got us into this bullshit in the first place. Because, of course, science fiction and science fantasy is about imagination. It's about other worlds, other planes of thought. You know, it's about philosophy. You know, sometimes you have to free yourself from the borders of the world in which you live. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I wouldn't expect there to be. And if there are a bunch of earthly issues in your science fiction and science fantasy, well, that's when you're going to get the pushback from the fans, because we don't want all that bullshit shoveled into our entertainment. That's why we're in the position that we're in now. So there you go, Dr. Morton Bay, aka Dr. Mindbender. And he goes on to say, in my mind, the push to polarize the community and turn fan against fan will force social media users to be on the lookout even in their safest havens. That, not the potential presence of a few Russians in the threads, was the study's most important takeaway. Alright, Dr. Mindbender, let me just point something out to you. Your buddy, roundhead, blockhead, pootie-tang, Ruin Johnson, is the one who set out, and you can find this on camera, on film, probably on YouTube, he's the one who set out to divide the fans, okay? That's not something that we did, doctor. That's something that your buddy did. And you want to talk about accountability, maybe someone should hold him accountable for what he set out to do. On Kathleen Kennedy's watch, by the way, while everybody's sucking on her teat, you know, claiming that she did such a good job rescuing Star Wars from George Lucas. What the fuck is that? I saw an article saying that Kathleen Kennedy rescued Star Wars from George Lucas. He's the creator, all right? It's like, even if you feel that you're contributing something to what he did, he created it. Show some respect. For God's sake, man, these people, they're clueless. You know, so anyway, like I said, blame Rian Johnson. If you want to talk about splitting the fans and stuff like that. That's what the man gets off on. I don't know why you guys keep giving him a pass. This is what happened. All we're doing is responding to it. Okay. So he says, social media platforms are now integral to news distribution, communication, and information dissemination in our society. The current regulatory debates aside, it is time to have a serious public conversation about social media cultures. But even the response to my small academic paper shows that some people aren't ready for that. Wow. Okay. So anyway, this guy is saying that, wait, why is this thing jumping around? Social media platforms are now communication and information dissemination. All right, so he's talking about regulating the debate. No, the current regulatory debates aside, it is time to have a serious public conversation about social media cultures. Okay, I think I see where he's going with this. Okay, stick with me, guys. This won't take long. The study was peer-reviewed, accepted for publication in a top journal in my field, and it is common among academics on Twitter. I shared a draft. It smelled like a draft. I smell it. Get that draft out of here. I shared a draft of paper so that fellow academics could take a look. Then Ryan Johnson retweeted the study, knowing what was going to happen, mind you. Followed by several fans, the news media began writing about the paper, addressing or focusing on those few Russian trolls. All of a sudden, YouTubers started posting some very ill-informed protest videos, and my Twitter account was blowing up with people who didn't want to be accused of being Russian bots just because they didn't like The Last Jedi. Now, guys, like I told you before, these people watch us. He said YouTubers, ill-informed YouTubers, started making videos, and he watched all of them. Didn't you, Dr. Morton Bay, aka Dr. Mindbender? I know you did, and I know you know all of us. You should have expected, I know Ryan Johnson expected that there was going to be pushback because he likes that shit. Alright, going on. I've studied social media long enough not to care about that. Oh, he said, I've studied social media enough not to care about the YouTubers. Okay, so it's just like, just brush it off your shoulder, right? Morton Bay, what kind of intellectual are you? That I believe is called experimenter bias, when you just want to control the factors. Whether you like it or not, the fans are actually a factor in this in ways that you don't want to accept. That's why you don't want to act like you've listened to the YouTubers, because God forbid you have a fair and balanced analysis of what the fuck you're talking about, right? So he goes on. I've studied social media long enough not to care about that, but here's what I do care about. What my study reveals isn't some old news about Russian interference. It reveals that users must now wrap themselves in the same paranoia and hypervigilance they employ when walking around in a foreign major city if they want to avoid political manipulation on social media, regardless of where the other users are located. Yes, doctor, and that's why it's called the World Wide Web. www.mofo. Yes, when you get into the World Wide Web on the internet, you are pretty much sharing your space with the world. That's right, that's right. So the point that you're making is moot, my friend. Once you get on the internet, it's all fair. You have a problem with that, my friend, because you are a fascist, and you should admit that, Dr. Mindbender. All right, going on. Where am I? We all deserve better. Leaders of social media companies have to acknowledge that their platforms will never be neutral and stop pretending that they are. Okay, listen. If social media companies have to acknowledge that their platforms will never be neutral and stop pretending that they are, how do you propose that they regulate this? Because if you offer a space to all different beliefs and philosophies and things like that, that actually is being neutral. When you start regulating those voices, well then you're no longer neutral. When you just want to let people through that you agree with, that are not as offensive to you because of how they feel and what they feel about a freaking movie, well, you might be in a little bit of trouble there, Dr. Mindbender. All right, going on. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. I don't know. Help me, guys. Help me. You're welcome in the comment section. Okay, Twitter can ban sock puppet accounts, bots, or trolls if they want. So now you're talking about banning. You're talking about banning, and we're not talking about the antiperspirants. You want to ban people. Listen to yourself, doctor. Listen to yourself. Of course, this won't stop many of the people I spotted in my study who just want to spread political vitriol in unrelated contexts. Only users can change that by demanding transparency from those who express themselves on social media like they probably never would in public. Transparency? So you want everybody online to be transparent? Is that what's going on? Anonymity must always be an option, with whistleblowing or privately associating with like-minded people being just two good reasons. But it's also okay for users to demand that an online adversary put a real name and face to their offensive statements if they want to be taken seriously. Alright, so Dr. Mindbender is saying, why don't you say it to my face? A few times I've been around that track, and it's not just going to happen like that. Because I'm not no hollaback girl. I'm not no hollaback girl. Ooh, that's my shit. That's my shit. All right, Dr. Mindbender, Dr. Morton Bay, gangster. Okay. It's okay to ignore, be dismissive of, or even block someone on social media who is bold enough to be vitriolic but hides behind an avatar. And the media shouldn't treat someone going by Feminazi Suck 88, for example, as a legitimate representative of an individual, let alone a fan base. Doctor, do you hear what you're saying? You're talking about invading privacy. What? Oh my God, are you kidding me? You sound very anti-American. You sound very anti-freedom. Listen to yourself. One of the reasons why when you go to vote, there's a partition is because we protect each other's privacy. All right, that's actually a right that we have everywhere. We have the right to privacy. So when people go online and they use an avatar, well, it's usually because they want to operate from a point where maybe they won't get fired, you know what I mean, if their boss disagrees with what they're saying. But you want transparency, doctor. Ooh, man, there's words, there's names for people like you, doctor, and one of them is dangerous. Okay, if we can build that culture of accountability as users, maybe the debates leading up to Star Wars Episode 9 will be about the politics in that galaxy far, far away, rather than the politics surrounding those watching. And I am done. All right, that's the end of the article. So anyway, guys, because I do have to go, so let me wrap this up. So as you can see, all right, Dr. Mindbender, aka Dr. Morton Bay, seems to have a problem with people having the right to express their views, and he wants everything to be out in the open. So when you express your views about a movie, he wants you to go on the list of bad little viewers who didn't like the movie. So how would that information be used in the future? And if we get used to having that information used against us, well, what happens when we start being more vocal about political issues into the future? You see where this goes? So guys, this goes deeper than Star Wars, and I would like the fandom to come together at this point, because surely those of you, even the ones who love The Last Jedi, are beginning to understand that what's happening here is when Episode 9 comes out, all right, they're going to be watching. And if you like The Last Jedi, or if you hated The Last Jedi, if you don't like Episode 9, you can expect to get the treatment that we are getting now. The ones who are vocalizing their opinions, the ones who are pushing back against what they're pushing on us. Because, guys, we didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. Ryan Johnson, Kathleen Kennedy, I don't know, J.J. Abrams, oh, shout out to Billy Joel. I'm not going to mess up your song. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about. You guys have to realize we're losing our rights to express how we feel. all right, if you let people like this win or you let them go unopposed. So that's the reason why I'm pushing back with this video, and I'm just letting you know what I see. You know, maybe I'm seeing too much. This is possible. I have been known to dabble in the conspiracy theory pools, so perhaps I'm seeing something that's not there, but I don't think so, guys. It's like this is just a simple movie that people just didn't like. Maybe Dr. Morton Bay would like to explain to me. Doctor, I know you're watching. You talked about the YouTubers. Listen, maybe you'd like to explain to me how Kylo Ren was corrupted. If you have Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Jedi Master Luke Skywalker in your family tree, how, growing up, would you have romanticized what happened, the rise, the fall, and the rise again of Anakin Skywalker? How, as a child, having that family, would you have gone over to the dark side? You were being trained by your uncle, Jedi Master Luke. Who is this Snoke person? And how did he have access to Kylo Ren when Luke was training him at that time? Dr. Morton Bay, please explain that to me, Morton Bay, because all that shit you're talking about, it's irrelevant. You know, you can intellectualize this thing all around Saturn, but the point is the movie had plot holes and it didn't make sense. And I don't need a freaking diploma, degree, all types of shit to see that. And neither do you. So whatever you're trying to do, I just want you to know I have my eye on you, Dr. Morton Bay. Morton Bay. Morton? I wonder what it was like when you were growing up. Morton? Oh, Morton! Come here, boy! Belvedere! Anyway, guys, I gotta get up out of here. My son is waiting for me, as always, and I don't keep my son waiting. So, guys, I hope you have a good weekend. Happy Columbus Day to all. Columbus Day. Oh, boy, don't get me started on that. But anyway, enjoy, guys. And this is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. I will see you on the next one. Rock on!